So having copied the collar off and spread it open, I've put the first piece here, so fold line down the middle, and then we get the other half. So that's kind of really self-explanatory. And then we have the grain line going across. Everything that we're cutting at the moment in these demonstrations tends to be net, unless we say otherwise. But on this, I've kind of indicated what the seam allowance would be. The seam allowance would be 1 centimetre on this, all the way around. And this would be cut as one single piece, and it would most likely be completely fused as well, and it would be in the self, so the main fabric. So skipping this piece, we're just going to look at this here, and this is going to be an under collar, as this is the top collar, and this is also going to be in self. And like any under collar, we tend to make it smaller around the leaf edge, and like most things that we make smaller, it's about 3mm to about 5mm. As this is going to be made of a tailoring fabric, if it's quite heavy, if it's a coating material, we might make it 0.5 smaller, or if it's slightly lighter, we'll make it 0.3 lighter. So on the leaf edge being the section that doesn't join onto the neck line, we'll make it about 0.3 in real scale, 0.3 smaller. And then when we get to this point here, we will grade it back in so that it goes back to the original length. So all around the leaf edge it's smaller and it's rolling under. We would need to put the grain line on for this. And the grain line is at 45 degrees for the under collar to help it roll. And so popping on the seam allowance, it would be 1 centimetre all the way around, in real scale, including on the centre back. So that does mean that we need to cut one pair. This might be fused as well, but normally only one part of your collar is fused. So that creates the top and the under collar. Now this particular method of having a centre back seam is seen more in women's wear. So there is, on tailoring, on coats and stuff, there is a different way for men's wear, but it doesn't really matter if you use the women's wear method, and you do see this on a lot of like raincoats and things. Now this collar is made of Melton fabric, and Melton is a type of felt. And if you've ever worked with felt, you know that it doesn't actually have a weave. It doesn't have a grain line. It doesn't have a cross grain or anything like that. Although it does move on the bias. So again, this piece will actually be cut on the bias. Felt is one of the oldest fabrics in existence. One of the first to be developed before we could weave and use looms. So this piece is like the top piece in the sense that it's one piece cut like that. Because the felt is on the Melton is on the bias, and it stretches overall. We kind of do something similar to this, which is to make the edges about 1/2 centimetre smaller on the leaf edges, if not actually maybe a little bit more. That's a bit crap. So that would be smaller on the leaf edge. Very similar to that. But the interesting thing is the seam allowance for this. And that would be 1 centimetre seam allowance on these ends. Just remove that across. It could be 1/2 centimetre sometimes. And then 1 centimetre along here, and the same on this side, and then 1 centimetre on the neckline. However, there is no seam allowance on the top. I would recommend you look at a tailored jacket and look at the construction methods for that.